Good evening. Alrighty. Gonna take it easy this evening. I'm gonna be streaming for absolutely no more than an hour and a half. Do a little bit of an update here. It's gonna be a little bit of a subtle background music. I think I have it pretty low. Good evening to anyone that's here. Last time I did a stream, there was only one person that got the treasure chest full of lots of lemons. Got Tree Shaker, Mango IPA. Alrighty. It's been a lot. Which I usually say that. It's just one of the things that I have recognized over and over again. That a lot has been going on. A lot continues to go on. And the subject of tonight is actually about just how little is actually going on. Not to be ironic. Alrighty. If I could get a little bit of a comment on how the music's coming through. I want it to be very, very low, just barely noticeable. That's the plan. So let me know if that is pretty much how it is. That would be nice. Who reads or watches the news? This is my face every time I read or look at the news. I see the thumbs up. Appreciate you. Yeah. The people that are experiencing the worst life right now are the ones that are focused on the news. They lead your mind in all sorts of places. Takes a while to recognize what's really going on. I will not comply. I'm not a big fan of mind control. Just not a big fan of it. Let's see what's going on. We're gonna go ahead and join this one here. And I think the audio comes through both sides. Then we will do alrighty. So I have joined up on Discord. Feel free to hang out on there while I do this stream tonight and talk about how everything is not as it seems. The general topic of the evening. Let's see. Apparently, there's at least 2 of you here. Good evening. I was kind of hoping that there would be at least a couple. There we go. Good to go. All right, here's what we're going to do. We are going to hit some of this back. Backity back. Oh, that didn't work. All right, we're going to go to Mark S. I already forgot his name. Hold on. So one of the days last week, I believe it was Thursday or Friday. I believe it was Thursday. All right, where's this guy? Tweets and replies. Where can I find this? Mike S. Adams, that's the one. All right, so we will go here for a bit. A few days before this man was murdered, allegedly murdered, he posted a few different things. We'll check his channel out. Alrighty. I am not currently signed in, which is just fine by me. So this man, Mike S. Adams, professor, pro-life speaker, author of Letters to a Young Progressive, and columnist at Town Hall and the Daily Wire, on July 15th, about a week and a half before he was found dead, allegedly murdered. He said 15 days to slow the spread. They told us 121 days ago. In his memory, I made this. If it's going to show up, we'll find it one way or another. I have no idea why it would take that long. That is strange and not helpful. Let's try again. Ah, there we go. All right. I'll just let you look at that for a moment. Hot meme off the press. Yes, that is a scene from Castaway. Yes. Yes, it is. However, I haven't tried to count all the tallies in this picture because they're not all visible. But I'd say it's fairly accurate. I'd say it's fairly accurate. So there's that. Mike S. Adams is no longer living. Now, the man was about to get a $500,000 payout. I believe it was a $500,000. He was 1 day away, the day after he died, allegedly. Allegedly murdered, that is. He was supposed to be getting a payment from a settlement for, I think, at least $500,000. He was also set to be married within a few weeks or months. So he had a lot going. He had a lot going for himself, and Sam Hyde. Somebody's using a Sam Hyde photo for their profile picture. I just find that funny. Yeah. There's a lot going on with this guy, guys. This is it's a weird situation. But let's see. What's really sad is this right here. A lot of vile things being said about this guy. You got good things like Young America's Foundation, you know, and then he got hate from people like We Got the Meats here and other people for saying Massa Koopa, let my people go. So it's hate speech to say Massa. You got people like Stingmall telling him to rot in hell. 77 people agree with that sentiment. You've got, yeah, I mean, this is a good example here. Jordan Poole, which I've heard the name. I'm not 100% who that is, but it sounds super familiar. Was found dead alone at his home in Wilmington, North Carolina today. That was on the 23rd. He was 55. He was healthy. He was about to marry the love of his life. He was set to retire in a week, and he was about to inherit a good bit of money from the settlement, like I explained. Excuse me. 59 people agreed with that sentiment. Smart, brave, always cheerful, and a gentleman of great faith. 1,700 people agree with that sentiment. He was a friend to me, my wife, and my children. They call him Uncle Mike. This one's hard to make sense of. 211 agree with that sentiment. Same people who preach about mental health will bully you until you have no other option to pull the trigger. So Grace Morgan is under the impression that he really did off himself. Grace Morgan is probably someone that full-fledged believes that Epstein also killed himself. Mike S. Adams is the kind of man, was the kind of man, to say something like this. In June, that is. He was ahead of his time as far as California is concerned. Hold a church service. Call it a protest against Satan. Legendary. Absolutely legendary. Let's continue. Now, these are the top comments with the most likes and retweets. Thank you for the lemon. Appreciate you. And all the other lemons. We have Rioters don't care about social issues. Okay, so as far as top comments, I don't even know why. I don't even know why that would show up. Was Mike S. Adams murdered? Is NC governor involved? 2 likes. Today, Jenna Ellis appears to be a news anchor. Gave the name for my cup as Mike S. Adams, small but meaningful tribute to a dear friend whose inside joke never failed to make the rest of us roll our eyes. Miss you, my friend. 237 agree with that sentiment. The violent outrage of white liberals taking the streets is brought to you by your local university. None of this would be possible. So there's a rogue fruit fly. I shall smote. I shall smote him. None of this would be possible without the encouragement of academic extremists who have hijacked the system of higher education. So as far as right now, you still got people flicking him off. People talking about bullying him to death. Got you people are still tweeting about him almost at this point every couple of minutes. And it's been 4 days. If I had to venture a guess, I would say that hypothetically, I think that somebody stuck their knee on his neck until he was no longer living. The only thing that really makes a difference between Mike here, Mike S. Adams, and Floyd Mayweather is I can't remember people's names all the time. The only thing that makes a difference between people is Mike S. Adams never professionally or amateur or unofficially was involved in any form of a sodomy film. He didn't engage in those kinds of behaviors. That's something that uniquely sets him apart from Floyd Mayweather. Now, in regards to, let's see, substance use, it is also known that Mike S. Adams refused to partake in illicit substances. So in those ways, he is very much unlike one of the world's most famous people, Floyd Mayweather. The only thing he shares with Floyd Mayweather is that he too is no longer alive. Is this Mike Adams the health ranger? I do not believe so. Mike Adams was a professor who said things that offended people. He also was an author. He wrote things like, "White man can't breathe." Highly offensive on June 2nd. "Why I can't get arrested in Raleigh. North Carolina patriots must stand up to hypocritical governor." Seeing as how I would love to move back to North Carolina someday. This man was a hero. 2 kinds of pro-choice advocates. The Unteachables. I feel like I'm reading off Jeopardy categories right now. Life and How to Live It, Part 13. Victoria's Secret. 3 essential firearms for civil unrest. 3 more non-essential firearms. 3 non-essential firearms. 3 more essential firearms. 3 essential firearms. This was back in October, guys. Questions for college preview day. Bob and the Burning Research Lab. Let's. This is fantastic. I'm loving reading his old article titles. Seeking Seahawk Plaintiff. Cultural Appropriation 101. How to confront and cross-examine incompetent Marxist educators. Pregnancy doesn't kill. Warren Hearn does. University dubs conservative women 2/5 of a person. This guy is epic. My Title IX sex discrimination complaint. Science proves the inhumanity of the abortionist. Majorly low-hanging fruit, but at least he was writing about it. The tenured enemy in our midst, misbegotten aims and primal loathing. Picking up the pieces. How to avoid roadkill and reduce psychic pain. These are mysterious titles of articles. The courage of the civil rights legacy. Are these all his? Just double checking. Yes, these are all his articles. Fantastic. Saul in a Day's Work, Abortion and the Christian Case for Choice. Fascinating. Going out on a limb on that one. Heaven or Hell, take your choice. Starkville Pride. Hecklers and Hypocrites. This is going back 2 years now at this point. An open letter to the Montana legislature. He was unabashedly pro-life, for the reference. Bible-thumping pro-life fundamentalist. Bold about what? Fashionable bigotry. Bigotry backfires in Montana. Cowards in the academic trenches. The Whiteness Protection Program. How could I not click on that? How could I not? Letter to the aging communist. Grisly bigotry at the University of Montana. The free speech tax at UNC Gomorrah. I cannot believe what is this? There's a Gomorrah? How do I not know about there being a what? Is this guy as cool as I am? Is he calling Greensboro Gomorrah? My respect for this man just went up 100-fold if he called Greensboro Gomorrah as a joke. Oh my gosh, he did. It's all about sodomites. And he called them Gomorrans. I literally love this man. I pray sincerely that he is worshiping and lifting up the name of Jesus Christ right this very moment. Praising God for all eternity. Amen. He called Greensboro, North Carolina, Gomorrah. That's a man after my own heart right there. Skip past Sodom and go to Gomorrah. What an American hero. And I'm not being sarcastic in the slightest. I am so proud of this man. 3 years ago, writing an article about Gomorrah. This poor man, Christy Lawrence Breet. Welcome and hello. I feel like I've seen your name somewhere, but hi. Let's read one of his articles from approximately 3 years ago. Just under 3 years. I could say criminology professor. Yes, he was a criminology professor. I spend a lot of time counseling students who are getting abused in the classroom. Now, just keep in mind, I'm reading the words of a dead man that was more than likely murdered for his radical perspective of preserving life of unborn children and protecting all, let me clarify, protecting all races. All. He was a radical. He was murdered for, well, allegedly murdered for his extreme views. He's also possibly a man that believed in traditional male female roles and was also against sodomy. And he was allegedly murdered for these things. I'm going to read his article now. I'm going to skip past this song because what is going on? This song is not the not the vibe. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're not going to do all that. It's too much. It's all good. It's all good. We got this. In fact, any white male that decides to become a police officer can expect to be attacked viciously by Marxists trying to transform the criminal just to try and wrap it. The criminal justice system indirectly through classroom indoctrination. These people aren't criminal justice professionals. They aren't even teachers. They are tenured bigots invading an institution they wish to destroy. They're sort of like atheists who in a seminary just to undermine religion. All right, let me try and read his article a little bit more respectfully. To make matters worse, the Criminal Justice Department also requires students to take several sociology classes. In these classes, tenured white feminists routinely preach about white privilege while directing virtually all of their vitriol towards white males. Ironically, the lectures of many of these unhappy women are fueled by $5 white mochas. This man knows how to write. What an amazing writer. I need a whole new theme of music for this right now. This isn't doing it. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Got to switch it up, yo. Yes. Yes. This is where I'm going with this. All right. $5 white mochas. As a prior Starbucks employee, 1554780. Yes, that was my partner ID number. Used to be. You know, I had a manager with 360577. How do I remember these numbers? I kid you not, his name was Jeremy Fields. Somebody wants to verify that someday, pat me on my back, or give me a chocolate chip cookie, I'll accept either one of those. Thanks. Here we go. What a beautiful, beautiful man. Passed away from murder, allegedly. Fortunately, because I spent a lot of time thinking about these matters, I've come up with a solution to protect white male students from the academic lynch mob that earns a living marginalizing them in the name of diversity and inclusion. I call it the. Why was there an ant crawling on my head? I call it the Whiteness Protection Program. This man could not have possibly committed suicide. There's just not a chance in the world, guys. Its potential for success depends upon the long-term viability of two recent trends in higher education. The first of those trends is the movement towards online education. Now, a future police officer can get a degree without ever setting foot on a brick and mortar campus. That way, when he enrolls in class, the professor doesn't know his race, gender, or sexual orientation. He can start to weigh into the online discussion forums with a near complete demographic presumption of innocence. Of course, it won't take long for the professor to inject a controversial topic like the Black Lives Matter movement into the online class discussion. As soon as a student makes a pro police officer remark, the professor will assume certain demographics. For example, a student named Eric Jones will be assumed to be male, which is a safe assumption, but Eric will also be assumed to be a straight and white. But Eric will also be assumed to be straight and white, which is a less safe assumption. So the professor might decide to try to verify Eric's demographics. This is where the second trend, gender identity politics, comes in handy. Because gender is no longer a binary concept based upon biology. Eric can now claim that he is a woman when he signs up for his online degree program. He can even demand that his professors use the pronouns she, her, and hers, without going through hormonal treatment or surgical genital alteration. I would urge a conservative white male like Eric to just go all the way and demand that his professors call him Erica for safe measure. By becoming a white female, Erica has taken a load off his mind. But he needs to. This guy is such a great man. It's tragic. It's tragic that this man was allegedly murdered. I'm not making light of the fact that he was more than likely allegedly murdered. Allegedly. I'm not trying to make light of that in the slightest. This is tangential to my original intention this evening, but it's worthy. It's worthwhile. Because are you listening to this article? Are you listening to the beauty of this man's intellect? God, he was so next level. May God raise up more men like Mike Adams. Mike, doesn't matter what your name is. I pray to God that he raises up more men like Mike S. Adams. All glory to God. But he needs to insulate himself from the attacks on his white privilege by taking care of the white part of his identity, and that is actually very simple. He can just mark the box for African American on his college application. If challenged, thank you very much, Erica can claim racial discrimination. It puts gender identity politics in the forefront of the diversity movement, while sending racial identity politics to the back of the bus. And that's clearly racist. Author's note. I guess that was it. There's no question about sexual orientation on the college application. However, it goes without saying that if Eric is still attracted to women when he becomes Erica, he can claim lesbian status and check off a third victim category. This guy is awesome. Was, unfortunately. The only remaining hitch is the prospect of having to take a picture for a student ID upon enrolling at the university. If that happens, students should just refuse to take the picture. If the university insists on a photo, a lawsuit is in order. Facial profiling and the ideology of facial supremacy. God. Oh, this is so sad. This man was such a legend. What a legend. I wish I had more subscribers, not for my sake. I wish more people knew how awesome this guy was. Facial profiling and the ideology of a facial supremacy upon which it is based simply have to be eradicated. All progressives should be on board with this. Abolishing photo IDs is the key to their future electoral success. If an illegal alien can vote without one, why can't a white guy enroll in college without one? I rest my case. Oh, there's more. Fantastic. Praise the Lord. So there you have it, white male conservatives. To recapitulate, the key to escaping from classroom oppression involves just 4 easy steps. Enroll in an online program using your temporary black lesbian identity. This will make you a blug, which is even more chic than being a lug lesbian until graduation. Decline the request to submit to the facially discriminatory photo ID requirement, or hire someone as a stand-in for the picture. It's not identity theft if you consent. Inform your professors of your preferred pronouns and new name. If you really want to have fun, demand to be called Her Majesty. Reclaim your former straight white male identity after you graduate. Of course, this is optional if you decide to take a job somewhere in California. Love this man. Love this man. Perhaps the best part of my whiteness protection program is its temporary nature. One can simply leave the program at any time. Unlike the real mob, the academic mob will never come looking for you after you leave campus. Your Marxist professor derives power from tenure which no one recognizes as valid in the real world. It may sound controversial, but everyone wins under my new policy. The straight white male will get an education free of retaliation for his so-called white privilege. Finally, the traditional classroom will become a safe space for the sharing of grievances by minorities, feminists, and alphabetically marginalized Americans. I just have very little to say about I have so much to say about how much I love the beauty of this man's article that I just read. What a legendary human. How far back does this go? I want to know how long this guy was doing what he was doing. Whoa, KKK. Let's check that out. The KKK took my building away. Fascinating. All right. Campus Crusade. (2012). Amazing. Intellectual rapist. I bet that was a good article. Jeffrey Maxwell, Silver Hammer. Fascinating. (2008). 2007. 2006. Oh man, he even wrote an article about Nambla. Oh my gosh. I guess that's it. 2003, is that it? 2003. His oldest article on townhall.com is about Nambla. I just wow. He was on Twitter for 11 years. He was on Town Hall for 17 years. Wow, that's a lot of authors that they have on townhall.com. I'm really sad. After reading his article and recognizing just what an amazing and beautiful man that he was, I'm really sad. I just wow, guys. YouTube is burying your stream in feeds. I'm subscribed to over 1,000 people. When someone goes live, there's 30 other videos immediately covering it up. Just kind of how it is. I think I'm gonna play more Baroque music when I stream. I don't think it'll trigger the angry police when I mean, I think Baroque music isn't highly copyrighted or whatever. Guys, I was going to talk about all sorts of stuff tonight, but I read about this Mike S. Adams, updating you guys on Mike S. Adams. And now all I can think about is how sad it is that this amazing man is dead, murdered, allegedly. Very, very sad. It's not to be taken lightly. It really isn't. It's very sad. Now, with that said, I want to share something with you. I want to share the fact that the news would have you believe, and many YouTube videos and otherwise would have you believe that the end of the world is coming. While that may be very true, I want you to recognize that fear mongering is the absolute priority of the current times. People on the left, people on the right, people on the top, people on the bottom, all people of all kinds are propagating messages of fear mongering. They want you to believe that it's all falling apart. Why? Probably for control. Probably for control. It's sad. And I want you to ask yourself, who do you trust in? Who do you put your faith in? Thank you for the ice cream. Creative Bear. Appreciate you. Who do you put your trust in? How do you put your trust in the one you claim to put your trust in? And these are rhetorical questions. Answer them to yourself. How do you sleep at night? How do you wake up in the morning? What do you do with your spare time? What occupies the majority of your thought life? What do you fantasize about? What do you hope for? What do you fear? I have nightmares about taking my glasses and breaking them. I don't even know what that means. Don't even know what that means. It could mean a lot of different things as far as my imagination goes. By the way, for those of you that are like, "Oh, you're gonna be healed. You're gonna be healed. You're gonna have perfect vision." In my dream, I'm not healed. It's the reason I'm breaking my glasses in my dream is because I'm about to get a new pair of glasses. And no, I don't think I'm Joseph Smith. No, I don't. He said Joseph Smith, arrest him. So, put your trust in the Lord, creator of the universe, Jesus Christ, his word. Rest and trust in those words. Meditate on them, upon them. Know them. Trust them. These are my recommendations. What am I doing about it? I am trying to practice what I preach, guys. God will give us all sorts of opportunities if we allow obedience in our life, if we seek obedience in our life to his law and his word. He'll give us all sorts of opportunities to obey him. Yeehaw. Alrighty. Well, as for this stream and the Baroque music, I am done. I don't have much else to share with you. I shared the life of Mike S. Adams in the briefest possible way. I hope you pick up where I left off. Pick off. Combine those two phrases way too quickly. Sometimes my brain is half a mile down the road before my next sentence is picking up out of my mouth. I can't talk fast enough to keep up with this Speedy Gonzales inside of my noggin. It's just how it is. So, with that said, follow Yahweh, not your way. And read some Mike S. Adams articles. And share his epic story with the people you know. He was an epic and lovely man, and he is being horribly treated after death. It's disgusting. And have a great night.